In theory, this is working, and you did not hear any kind of an introduction at all because I probably destroyed my computer, although it's possible I didn't destroy my computer. However, in any case, it has to dry out for a number of days. You'd think that I would need to dry out also, but I did not even get to drink the alcohol before it fell all over my keyboard. So yeah, I don't have my intro, so I can't thank my Praetorian Chad patrons except live and in person as I'm doing here. All of the credit and none of the blame. I want to thank all of them for the ongoing channel support. Please do follow this channel, Semiagog, as well as A Safer Space. You can do that on YouTube. You can do that on BitChute. You can do that on Odyssey. You can do it over on Twitter, on Gab. And I think I still have a Minds account, though I haven't been there in a while. Telegram. Yeah, I'll get back to Telegram when I get my other computer turned on. If you're over on Telegram and you're following overlaps with my own, I'd appreciate it if you let people know I'm live streaming because I can't at present. But yeah, here we are. I was going to attempt again that whole business of discussing the book of the body. The only problem is that I don't have any of my notes, and this time they were extensive. So I had the choice of sort of going at it half-assed, or going back to those notes, which I worked on for quite a while, actually. They cover a lot. So if I can get my computer turned on, then I can retrieve those files even before I go take it in to get financially raped for its reconstitution after my whiskey misadventure. And you can expect that clip fairly soon. Sorry about that last night. I apologize to everyone who ended up waiting. I apologize to the kind moderators, Zedez certainly, and others who were trying to help out. So how is the audio and how is the video? Notice I have a whiskey this time, but I have a separate thing set up over here where I'm just going to pour it all by myself. I mean, sorry, apple juice, where I'm just going to pour it for myself over here and not let it get anywhere near my backup computer because, yeah, I'm running out of computers. And I had that shit in here and I had it all sealed up because I'm not entirely a dumbass. I mean, you would imagine. And I just bumped it. The thing tipped over and pop because of some tension in the metal or how I had it twisted on. The whole thing just waited to fall onto the keyboard and then just go boom and dump like 3 good doubles of delicious apple juice, which means I didn't just end up with amber colored liquid inside my computer. I ended up with a considerable amount of of maple syrup. So damn, sometimes bad things happen. So this evening is going to be an Ask Me Anything. I'm just going to drink and smoke and talk to all of you, my friends, many of you at a distance, some of you close to me within my heart, those of you whom I've consumed and rendered a part of my inner substance. Of course, you will be with me forever. All right, I'm going to pour myself a drink here. Do let me know if the audio and video are acceptable. And yeah, we can get started. Think of some good questions. Do be aware that it's best to say at Semiagog so that I see them. As a matter of fact, let me do one thing at a time. I'm going to create a pop-out chat over here. Meanwhile, I'm going to seal this at every goddamn step of this, and I'm going to put it over here onto the drink table land. Yeah, and let me pull a pop-up chat out of this bin over here. And let me see. Oh, wow. Looks like people are waiting on the other one. Let me go tell them. I had 2 of these open. I'm stupid this week. So, I mean, there's some of you who are testy and troublesome people who are going to say that I'm stupid every week. But yeah, head over to the other live stream on this channel. This one is closed. Sorry. Ooh, it says I can't connect to the chat. I guess it is closed finally. Fair enough. Fine, it's gone. Okay, where's my pop-up chat? Dag nabbit. I need to find a way to what's this say? The camera is focusing on your mic instead of your face. That's probably better. When you get advanced in years, as I am, Wojciech, you find that it's best if the girl you're with does not re-up her prescriptions. It's better if you just. It's better if I look like a blur. Okay, hang on. This has to be live chat, not top chat. And this needs to pop out. Oh, there we go. I think this is now popped out. Let me just make this window smaller, and we're going to be good to go, peoples. I see Mr. Ixme is in the house. I see Zedez is in the house. Edward the Pale. Based, welcome. Did I see, is Charlemagne in here? I see Charlemagne. Oh, the cockles of my heart. The cockles of my parts are warmed. Not as much as D's parts, for example, would be warmed by Charlemagne, but warmed nevertheless. So what do you guys want to talk about this evening? I'm all screwed up. I don't have my support images. I don't have my notes. I did want to talk a little bit, but I mean, what the hell? I'll probably do it later because it's not going anywhere. But I did take an interesting step to try to put my toe in the water, so to speak, as regards the great game and all the stuff that I used to cover with Tim once upon a time. And it takes a little bit of getting back into when you're not staying up on it every day and watching the various things that are going on, as people like the Prudentialist, I recommend his channel, as people like as people like him do. If you can't keep up with it daily, it takes a little bit of work to get back up to speed on what's happening and where and these kinds of things. So I tried to do a little bit of that. And I was basically, I still have a strong belief that a major part of what's going on in Ukraine is Black Sea oil and natural gas. And so I said, I wonder what's going on with the rest of the countries that surround the Black Sea. And in particular, it looks like there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with Romania. Weird, all kinds of people visiting Romania now. Jill Biden had to go, and there's talk about how Romania will fly MiG jets for about another year, and then they're going to have other kinds of jets, which means big military contracts are being taken care of. There's headlines about how the U.S. is going to go in there and help them build a new nuclear reactor or some sort of nuclear power system. So, yeah, there's a bunch going on there, and it would make sense that things would be happening in Romania. And it kind of, warmed my heart a bit to look and see that, in fact, things are going on in Romania, that you would expect that they would try to get that coastline and back the claims that the Romanians could make to what I believe are going to be revealed to be significant resources in the Black Sea, which is to say more significant than most people are aware of at present. So that's an interesting thing. I was trying to get back into that, and I'm going to have to work it out. It's the main thing that kills me is I used to have those discussions with my excellent old friend. And so, while I'm used to running my mouth in general, and some of you guys kindly seem to tolerate me when I do it, when I get into the geopolitical stuff, I want to work with someone to have someone to bounce the ideas off of, or someone else to bring, further things to the table where I'm slack. Oh, why couldn't this just have worked out last night? So yeah, that's what's going on with the geopolitics, but I want to get started with it again soon. I have that epic stream I put together, all the notes for it on the Wisdom of the Body, or the Book of the Body. Wisdom of the Body. I think I'm ripping off from my friend's idea, from whom I learned a lot about this, by the way, Bagua and Shingi guy. So that is coming up, and there's another one. I have an epic, at least half a stream put together on grammar Nazis and more of my grammar rants, which, I mean, there's always time for those, right? I mean, shouldn't there be? Yes, says Black Dobbin. Whiskey, good whiskey, good. Yeah, so what do we have here for questions from people? Minoan in the house. Nice. All kinds of people. Guy from V. Cool. Lowell. Turnip Merchant. The turnip is here. Yeah, he is a programmer. He is a programmer of trumpets. All right, peoples. What do you want to talk about this evening? What kind of things have you wanted to bring up or talk about in the past, but there really wasn't the proper opportunity to discuss it because I was ranting about something or another, and and there wasn't an adequate amount of time left over, or my batteries were drained or whatever when the monologue ended. When I stopped droning at you, speak and let me know what sorts of things you want to discuss. Now I'm going to scroll back here, and I'm only going to pull things unless I happen to see them that have an at semiagog at the beginning. Somebody's saying aggressive Vlad the Impaler t-shirt from a Turkophile. Vlad himself was educated at the Turkish court, not as thoroughly educated as his brother Radu the Handsome. However, yeah, everybody benefits from a little bit of a Turkish education. Just ask me, I'll tell you. Okay, so let's see here. The first one that has an at semi. I see El Vaquero 555 in the house. Good to see you, sir. Very happy you could join us. Starlion says, good to see you streaming. Thank you very much. I already said howdy to Mr. Ixme. Mighty. El Vaquero says, you ready for some more dead animal picks next month? I think somebody is fitting to go out hunting. Yes, I am. It's going to be a little bit, I have to use my other computer to log on to Telegram. So you can't get me over there at present. If you're on Telegram and you want to reach me at present, I'd appreciate it if some people keep an eye on my channel and let me know if anything funky's going on over there. God damn, I get so much spam trying to sell fake passes and all kinds of garbage, constantly having to clear it out. Yeah, let me know. You can reach me at protonmail, semiagog@protonmail.com, or you can get me over with direct messages over on Twitter, or, you can try your luck catching me with a comment here. But let me roll through and see if I can find a proper question to get started on. Oh, cool. Tyler Santinelli says, too late in the evening for his blood. Clearly you have a responsible party in the house here. I suffer from no such obligations at present. Said he had a basket weave up in the live free or die state, and I was fondly spoken of. So that's great. It's usually quite the opposite, I assure you. Zachary Bolduc says, I'm sorry, I probably butchered that pronunciation. Forgive me. Says Semigog, what's on your mind these days? Well, one of the problems is that very much it was that whole topic of the book of the body, or consciousness of the body. And see, you cunning people, man, you get me started talking about it, and I'll just do it anyway. However, I don't want to, because I really took care to lay it out and have it be intelligent and not entirely rambling and mad. But yeah, I'll give you a tiny little piece. I've got a great hill. I'm very, very lucky at my location insofar as I have this long ass driveway that runs out to the road. And if I walk quickly, as I generally do, it takes me 2.5 minutes to get from up on the ridge down to the road. And it's got a big, long, steep hill, and then a short level area at the low ground, and then another short hill where you get to the raised area where the road is. And so I cruise down, and to the end, it's got a long downhill walk, level walk, then a short uphill walk, and I'm at the road. And then of course you turn it around, and you've got a short downhill middle section, and then a long steep uphill section, and it takes about 2.5 minutes one way, so it's 5 minutes round trip. And I just do between 35 and 40 minutes of just going back and forth, and I mix it up in all kinds of ways, and it's been great for my legs. I'm not going to hear any more shit about skipping leg day, which is always crazy to me, for the idea that someone is giving me a hard time about that, because my legs are always the thing that's in my best shape. It's my arms that would be all skinny or whatever. Anyway, yeah. So I've been doing a lot of that around here, and it caused me to think back through a number of lessons that I have discovered over the years about consciousness in and of your body. I just got a big ass stand. It's called the Toes Don't Touch the Ground stand. It's some damn Vietnamese stand that you can get on Amazon for a few $100. Basically, it's because the beams here for the ceiling of this building, they may I don't know, maybe they're 2x6s or 2x8s or something. I mean, maybe it's crazy and he's much more responsible than I thought, and it's 2x12s or something, but I doubt it, and I don't want to hang from him. So I bought this stand that will allow me to get up in the air. I mean, I have to hop pretty seriously to get my hands on it to do pull-ups, but I have one of these yoga sling rigs set up on it that will allow me to do inversions and all the rest, and that has been great. You know, hanging upside down, keeping your eyes peeled to see if some further fucking scorpion is going to fall out of the woodwork. Um, so yeah, trying to get my ass in shape has been the main thing that's been on my mind. I need to break out my notes for the semiotics of nationalism stuff. I want to get together all of that so that I'm ready to properly begin working on it. And round about the time I do that, I hope to appear on Alex Kashuta's channel about that. There's probably going to be a delay in it. I'm hoping to talk to Dangerfield over on his channel fairly soon. Now, I have a few other things in the work, but this damn computer problem, I'm going to have to go talk to the fucking geniuses at the so-called Apple store. And I know I'm going to hate it. I'm going to be so angry. I'm just going to be looking at them smoldering with derision. Yeah. And yeah. And I have to go into the city to do it. It's one thing, you know, when things fuck up, but when you fuck up, God, I'm just the worst with that because I hate it. I hate myself. It's expensive. It's a waste of time. Yeah, time consuming, evil bullshit. Yeah, another thing I'm thinking about. I think that covers it. I'm going to try to jump to another question. So thanks, Tyler Santinelli, for the previous questions. Thanks, Zachary, for this one. Lowell says, how settled are you feeling in your new location? Are things bedding in, psychically speaking? Yeah, it's all right. It's a different kind of forest than I'm used to. I've hung out in, you know, proper hardwood forests or deciduous forests, but not this far down south. So I'm at a bit higher altitude than I was further north in Atlanta, even though I'm further south. But I'm in the mountains. And it's a different vibe. There are, you know, pine trees up in here, evergreens or whatever, but there are a lot of what I think are hickories and a bunch of other weird ass trees I'm not used to seeing. So it's got some good sized hardwoods. And it if it was clear cut, it had to have been like the last time has to be at least 40 or 50 years, because I saw my friend's land get clear cut and then I saw it 30 years later, and there ain't no trees as big as these, man. So I don't have like some pissant 15-year-old previously clear cut forest with a bunch of, you know, crappy pines. I've got like 75, 80-foot trees. Many of them are most of them are probably like around a foot in diameter, but there are plenty that are like a foot and a half, 2 feet in diameter, 60, 70, 80 feet high. And most of them are hardwoods. And it's a nice vibe. Got chewed up by gnats, which was unexpected. So don't know. Thought I was north of the gnat line. Apparently, no such luck. Because I mean, they tore into my ass. But I like it. I go outside. I don't hear shit except on Sundays. People shoot. I can hear it in the distance, but not crazy with it. You know, probably sighting in rifles and, you know, maybe, you know, keeping up on just a little bit of handgun shooting on the weekends, that kind of thing. Hell, I'm about to get trash service, which is just crazy. I'm not going to have to haul it to the dump myself, which is stylish. So yeah, I'm getting used to it. Got to get a radon gas detector because I got a super insulated building and it's not on a slab. The other one, not this one. This one's on a slab, but the other one isn't. Well, all kinds of things going on up in here. Let me just go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and fill this thing, but I'm going to do it over there. You see, what else do we have for a question? Starline. Any opinion on the Satanism memes being pushed in glow ops a few years back? Also, we should talk about Iran. I missed Tim, and I always wanted to hear him talk about the mullahs. I'm going to be putting together all the old Tim content here before too long over on Odyssey. Yeah, Iran, I just haven't looked into properly lately, so I can't say anything on it at present. In terms of the Satanism memes, they've been going strong for a long time, and arguably from the days of people like Anton LaVey, almost certainly, and even more likely from the days of Michael Aquino and these kind of folks, at the Temple of Set, and suing the state so that you can have a statue of Baphomet outside of the courthouse and all that other, I can't say that word on YouTube, all that other sort of stuff. Um, yeah, they've been doing it forever. And I haven't looked at it closely because, I was into the occult stuff as a lad, but I was never into that flavor of it. As close as I got to it was probably Crowley, who was a bit, even still, it's a little cringe. Um, so yeah, I'm not in a good position to offer any observations on that, I'm sorry to say, but thank you for the question. What else? Colonel Crayon, what's the best way of throwing money at you? Buying your books? Thank you very much for the questions. Very kind of you. Yeah, you can buy my books. Yeah, the poetry and the sci-fi, both of which are available over on Amazon. Thanks for reminding me, Colonel Crayon. I always forget to shill properly. I need to sit at the feet of the great master academic agent. Yeah, you can do that, or you can support me over on Subscribestar, where the lion's share of it will go to me. Um, yeah, and I haven't been pushing hard on that because I'm not properly producing content at this point, and I should basically just be saying thank you very, very much to the people who are still supporting me anyway. So I'll hammer that harder once I get going, and I have some good things in the lineup. Um, some very good things, I think. Hope. I'll be appearing at some point in June. I guess it's June now. Shit. With Apostolic Majesty. I told you about the one with Dangerfield. Hopefully, I'll get one scheduled with Alex Kashuta before long, and I have some other ones in the works. So expect more in future. But yes, Colonel Crayon, the best thing to do is to hook me up on Subscribestar, though I understand if you want to wait until I'm a little bit more productive. Um, Baron von Blair says, Semigog, what's the whiskey you're enjoying? Well, after spilling about 3 doubles of it last night, yeah, luckily I have a backup bottle. It's Bullet. And on that subject, I said, you know what? It's just kind of stupid to be spending this much money on whiskey as it costs to buy one of these big 1.75 liter bottles of Bullet. It costs like $60. Mm. So when I was over at Country Mouse liquor store, I said, you know what? I ain't proud. I'm gonna go ahead and try some of this Evan Williams that I used to drink when I was in high school, and let's see how it goes, because it's almost half the price, just a little over half the price of the Bullet. And I'm not sure how I feel about it. Let me know in the chat if you think that Evan Williams stuff is all right. It doesn't taste bad as a straight whiskey, but mixing it for my drink, it doesn't quite taste as good. And I almost feel like I've many times had 4 or 5 doubles with this Bullet apple juice, which of course I'm not drinking at present because it's only apple juice. And I don't have any kind of hangover or problem, and I'm old, man. Whereas I felt a little funky after having just a couple drinks of the Evan Williams. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Yeah, Four Roses is good too. I see Charlemagne brought that up. I've enjoyed that. That's not a bad whiskey. I don't know that they had that over at the place where I was. The little liquor store I was hanging out in. So yeah, right now it's Bullet. Baron von Blair. Yeah. Starlion, something Jim Watkins. That's stuff that's Mike Valley, Michael Aquino, all that stuff. I just don't know about those people. So I'm sorry, I can't really say much about it because I didn't keep up with it. I see one that doesn't have a at on it, but I noticed it from MVFC 76. He says, hey, Semi, any thoughts on how the Russians can wrap up their war against Ukraine quickly? No, none whatsoever. They're facing an enormous amount of, they're facing Ukraine, which in turn has an enormous amount of U.S. support. I know that, like if you watch some of the recent Duran stuff, and despite their very strong pro-Russia stance, they're still a very good source of information as long as you take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. They like to talk often about how people are throwing down their weapons and that it doesn't make sense to fight anymore. It's very clearly a propaganda operation, in my view. Can't prove it, but it doesn't matter because all of these shows are, I mean, with the exception of shit like mine. And you could look at whatever my content is that I produce as being my own propaganda. But they're definitely pro Russia. I mean, for maybe it's because of having something to do with the Orthodox Church or something, but their damn logo is a two-headed eagle for the Duran. I mean, come on. Maybe that's a Greek Orthodox thing. I haven't looked into it, but I'm like, meh. Anyway, they're a good source of information. And they're what I've been following for the more, what's going on lately. I catch some of Charlemagne's animations of maps, with the sort of stitching them together to produce animations so that you can see more clearly how things have happened dynamically thus far. I don't think that there's anything that Russia can much do to speed it up, and that it's going plenty quickly enough already. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of Russians who wish that it went faster, but despite the fact that people like Duran have pointed out that they've or that blogger guy who's really good with tactical stuff and military analysis, they pointed out that they're not sending much now, that it's like 4 of these MLRSs and, maybe 4 of these drones or whatever. But what's important is the intelligence support and the planning and logistics planning. The planning and the intelligence provided to them by the United States, and doubtless the support in terms of tactical and even strategic stuff, surely strategic stuff as well. So they're pouring money into the Ukraine. They're pouring support into the Ukraine. So Russia's, I mean, they're not fighting pushovers, and the military that they're confronting, the professional army that they're dealing with, they're in the eastern regions, Donetsk and Luhansk, or however the hell you say it. They're a professional army, so I don't see it going a whole lot quicker. And it still could go south for them, but I'm still of the opinion I originally was, which is they will, they will in the end be successful by any standard. How successful, I don't know, but they will be successful on their own terms by any standard. And I still hold with, I independently of the Duran or anything, I said that they're going to go for Mariupol. They're going to go for all of the Azov coast. They're going to, further consolidate their control over the Sea of Azov. They closed the straits at Kerch with the bridge they built, and I do believe they're going to be going after Odessa too. So yeah, I don't know if it could be sped up. All right. Man Ray of Hope 23, haven't seen you in a while, says, did you know that if you have a cold and you drink lime water and burn lavender incense near you, it helps with not coughing? I didn't know that, and I would guess that that depends on who you are, because I could see where that would make me cough all over the place. Le Plerome says that Ukraine took back some of Severodonetsk, and that he or she predicts the opposite. We'll see. Between men of goodwill, all differences are small. No, what else am I missing here? Any further questions? Ooh, it looks like I caught up. Ryan 218 says Novorossiya soon. Yes. So what other kind of questions do you have for me, peoples? Follow my friends on their channels. Follow Charlemagne. Follow the Turnip Merchant. Follow Prudentialist. Follow Aaron McIntyre. Follow Academic Agent. Follow Apostolic Majesty with Columba and Furious Pertinax. Follow all my peeps. There, that was a break for advertising. Now, as I sip this, I'm going to wait for a good question. Salutary. Fortifying. Okay. Men Like Gods. Hello, says geopolitical significance of Turkey rebranding as Türkiye. Um, Türkiye is the Turkish designation for the country they inhabit that we call Turkey. They don't like that that they're associated with turkeys, the bird. They of course call the bird Hindi because it's the Indian bird. As it was called when we thought we had arrived in what we thought was the West Indies. Um, so they have decided that they don't want it called Turkey anymore because of negative associations, and they've probably seen, all the nonsense going on where they're like, "No, it's not Kiev, it's Kiev," and they probably decided, "Look, let's give them some." They probably said to themselves, "Oh my God, the freakish Westerners are so self-absorbed with terror that they might enunciate some word that they're forbidden to, that we should go ahead and give them this sort of dog shit to play with." It's, I don't know, it becomes a new way to push themselves forward on the world stage. It's a pretty much a freebie in terms of being able to talk about it in the press, as it's a diplomatic initiative to change its standing. And no, you have to say our name, you have to use our pronoun, is what it sounds like to me. So yeah, whatever. um Edward the Pale, we were talking on Twitter yesterday, thinking the best new channel name would be Black Shabbat. Oh, Black Shabbat. Yeah. Merchants gathered in their masses. Sorry. Ugh. Clearly this clearly this beverage is good. What's the well, I should move on. What's the next question? Kel says, Semigog, is this the beginning of World War III, or is Putin part of the Great Reset crown and playing his part? I don't know. I think World War III has been going on for a long time, and that most people don't know about it, and it fits into all the unrestricted warfare stuff that, I've been looking into. People like Charlemagne are into it. Everybody's probably tired of hearing me talk about it all the time. But I think World War III has been going on for quite some time. It's just not fully kinetic. It's a new type of war, and we haven't cottoned on to the fact that it's shit. World War III is probably just an extension of World War II, which is just an extension of World War I, which means the same driving fight, dealing with new variations on the same themes, has been transposed to all dimensions of life, to all people. There are no rear areas. There are no non-combatants. Everybody's heard my spiel about all of this before. In terms of whether Putin is just playing his part in the Great Reset, I heard Tim talk a lot, sometimes on the channel and quite often privately with me, about Russia biding its time that had been propped up by various world powers to have it play its role. Oh, wow, I'm only on top chat. I should be on live chat. Maybe I'm missing important messages. Apologies if I am. Oh, let me find out where I am on. Yeah, apparently I missed a bunch of these questions. Sorry, guys. Tim would talk about how it's very, very likely that Russia will emerge on the world stage as a much more global player. Not that they're insignificant as it stands, but he always talked about the need for the ruble to be stabilized as an international currency for that to happen. And I remember at the time I was like, what? The ruble isn't publicly traded? Because, I don't know shit about currencies really. And I remember finding out, oh, wow, no. And certainly when you look at World War II and the way in which the US and Russia, Soviet Union or whatever, Roosevelt and Stalin, how closely they worked together to give all the alternatives a brisk fucking, and how in the end those were the countries that really won, and everyone else got, well, the least, last, lost, and loneliest. They were fucked. Thinking about that, yes, Russia paid a large price for it later. Certainly after Yeltsin, when it was, had come in and the economy was falling to pieces, and all the pain and drug abuse and the massive deaths and the homelessness and all the other things that followed on the restructuring of the Soviet Union into Russia. They paid a price for it later, but the fact remains, it seems to me, that only the powers that be, whoever it is you think those are, I'm not even going into it here. Only they have really been. China got helped incredibly by World War II and our efforts. Russia and subsequent efforts. Russia, likewise, even when it was bipolar, it served to elevate their status globally and to keep places like Germany down. France, other things like that. So I certainly do not rule out. And I think about it. I thought about it today again. I was like, man, that just the ruble's getting all stable, and now everybody's buying their energy from Russia in the East, which makes them kind of like, they're playing more of a role there. And it kind of sets the stage for potential conflict with China. I know a lot of people talk about how closely they're cooperating now. I am of this school that can only last for a certain amount of time, and it's much more a superficial thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. And after having gotten some of my predictions ridiculously, dramatically wrong, unless something changed, I'm going to have the Eater of Crow in my Twitter bio for the next 4 years until Biden's out of office. I'm going to leave it there because that's the price I pay. I told people I would take responsibility for it and accept it. I have. I will continue to do so. The point being that I'm hesitant. I have my own private moments where I think this will happen or that'll happen. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not convinced that this really is Putin versus the West. It might be that certain cat's paws in the West think it's Putin versus the West. But we'll just have to see. The next big one for me is to see what happens with 2022, these midterm elections. And if it goes as badly, I know people think it's going to go well. I don't know. They pulled a rabbit out of their ass last time. So I feel like it's entirely possible that after the 2022 election, I'll be able to just go ahead and say that the Republic has fallen completely. Yes, I know people will make the argument it already has, but I mean really completely with the shit they're doing and how hard they're going with it. Maybe it's all over. Maybe I have embraced the black belt. I'm not quite sure yet, but I do believe that after the midterm elections are completed in 2022, it'll be much more clear. Either there's still a game on, or yeah, it's pretty much, good luck. So, Baby Squirrel says, Semiagog, what do you think oil is? Aliphatic hydrocarbons, as that material is the crux of the world conflict and energy costs. I don't know. All I can give you on that is that I think a lot of what we're hearing about, you find bits of plastic here and bits of plastic there, and that you find them in the body, and the plastic is everywhere and it's poisonous. I think that what we're seeing there could very well be, whether it's true or not, I don't care. It could very well be being promoted mainly because people have decided that a part of their shift to the new power structure with moving away from petroleum products will entail some sort of corresponding reduction in the use of plastics. So I have given a little bit of thought to how the whole anti-plastics in your body, don't drink out of a bottle, make sure it's glass, this kind of stuff. People don't give a shit. I mean, maybe there is some possibility that, yeah, some grassroots something sort of crested this certain level of awareness and made it into the big time. But I'm increasingly disinclined to accept anything as quote unquote emergent behavior. And if it appeared at some low level where it wasn't getting a lot of notice as a result of truly emergent behavior, I'm certainly of the opinion that it doesn't get elevated up to appearing in all the different magazines and journals unless someone wants it to. And so as regards fossil fuels, I realize that's just a tiny little tidbit, but it's one I was thinking about some weeks back when I was doing all my bicycling before I bought this place. I just was constantly thinking about the shit I kept hearing and seeing video clips and people talking about, plastic is so terrible, it'll kill you. Like, yeah, it sounds like somebody has figured out that changing how we do things with fossil fuels is definitely going to involve having to step back and come up with alternatives for plastics. If anybody's really into investment, I would be going and taking a look out there to see what kind of things are coming up that are being chatted up quietly in the background as the replacements for plastic. And I'd review that landscape to see if there's anything, um, uh, if there are any investment opportunities out there that you want to play games with. This is not financial advice. I don't invest, and I'm shit with economics, but that's one of the things I'd be looking at. Sorry, baby squirrels, that I don't have anything better for you. Nullus in the house. Nullus abnormocracy. Hello, sir. Oj, hoj, noj. I wish I could remember some proper Hungarian. God, I can't remember anything. I'm not even going to try. I've only been there once. He says, congrats on your new abode. What's your take on Turkey's position regarding Finland and Sweden's current moves to join NATO? I've only looked at it a little bit. I think he is definitely wringing concessions out in the background. And I think what's probably happening is the West is probably taking a look to see how things are going to go with Russia before they give him a green light for the adventures he claims to want to prosecute in Syria. How Russia does in Ukraine is going to be a strong signal regarding how much attention they can pay to Syria and how much they might take offense if Erdogan does stuff in Syria. And has to do with Erdogan getting enough gumption to go do it. If they're highly successful in the Ukraine, that's going to involve their increasingly strong position in the Black Sea, where Turkey sees itself as a major power. So I think they're being very careful right now. They've got enormous inflation. Just talked to my friend over in Turkey, one of my friends, and he was talking about people, fucking each other in the street in Bebek. And Bebek is on the Sahil. It's like it's on the Bosphorus, and it's a beautiful section of town. My friend used to live there, and I stayed with him many times there, and nearby in Arnavutköy and further down in Rumelihisar. And this is a beautiful, upscale, expensive part of town. And there's some, I don't know, immigrant people or whatever fucking each other in the street. Lots of rapes going on, lots of crime, lots of smash and grab, lots of Turks being kicked out of their houses, rents being increased all over the place because people from outside Turkey, many of them Arabs, are renting property. And a lot of Turks not only can't afford the rent in the big cities, but all the Turks who can get out are doing something much like what we're doing in the US, where they go off to smaller towns to get away from the mess, which means that's an increasingly difficult place to get into. I mean, he was talking about how musicians very often go down to Bodrum on the coast, further south on the Aegean, and they are Aegean, Mediterranean, right in there. They head down that way, and a typical thing is you go down and you play music in Bodrum for the summer, and you make a good amount of money playing a live act, and you can stay down there and enjoy it and chase the tourist girls and all of that stuff. And it's become so expensive that even the musicians down there, for the people who want to, for the clubs and bars that are still hiring live musicians who can afford to do so, they can't stay there. So you have to stay 45 minutes outside of Bodrum in some other smaller village because you simply can't get places there. So it's a bad scene. I have a couple of my friends going nomad. I mean, it's where they have to start couch surfing because it's falling apart. So whatever it is that Erdogan's doing, he's in a rough spot. The thing is that he had consolidated his control so thoroughly that even as bad as his position is, it's still not entirely untenable. Now, take all of that with a grain of salt because I haven't been there for a while. But that is the picture or impression I have formed. And the reason I bring it up is because when you talk about Sweden or Finland, Turkey has a number of different games it wants to play, but thus far it seems to me that it's doing a balancing act. It's getting considerable support, I think, quietly from China, or was at least. It's trying to keep the door open with Russia, but by the same token, it seems to be playing both sides. I have my suspicions that Turkey probably did have something to do with what was going on in Kazakhstan that was designed to weaken the Russian position. They certainly were helping Ukraine. They're certainly selling drones to Ukraine and helping them with their drone program. They were certainly helping the Azerbaijanis. So it seems like they're going after Russia in a lot of ways. But by the same token, they have to deal with them down in Syria to some extent. They're increasingly going to have to deal with them in the Black Sea. I brought up the business of the Black Sea coast and energy in the Black Sea because I'm still of the opinion that you heard everything go quiet with all the Eastern Mediterranean oil, with Turkey anyway, in terms of their howling about it and, sending out prospecting ships and blocking other prospecting ships and arguing over, whether or not they're going to cut a deal with Libya to claim certain areas as territorial waters so a pipeline couldn't run through them without their permission and yada, 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 yada. I'm of the opinion that they quieted down a lot on that because they were offered something with what I suspect, don't have proof of it, just my suspicion, is going to be, a major energy play for the Black Sea. And that means that, again, they want to be careful how they handle things with Russia, especially if Russia comes out way on top in the Black Sea, which means they're going to have a different role there. So when you think about Sweden and Finland, it's entirely in Turkey's interest, number one, to try to wring as much as they can get out of the U.S. and Europe for their to not exercise their ability to veto new NATO accession, or whatever you'd call it, which, if I understand correctly, applies here insofar as I think all the NATO members have to unanimously agree to have the other ones come in. So it makes perfect sense for them to hold off, be coy, and wring as much as they can get out of the EU and the US who really want to make this happen. But by the same token, if it looks like things are really going to go forward with Russia and they continue to do well in Ukraine, then Turkey's going to be more inclined to see what they can get out of Russia. Because if Russia gains all that Black Sea coastline and takes Odessa, it's more or less got Abkhazia unofficially. I've even heard some squawks like maybe Georgia is going their way again. I'm not sure about that. But it's going to give Russia a lot more coastline. It's got Crimea already. If it gets the other coastline all the way over to Transnistria, it basically cuts Ukraine out. And that means it's got the most powerful naval force there. It's got Sevastopol, or the Crimea. It's got the former Ukrainian coastline. It's got Abkhazia. That means it's going to be able to put more pressure on Georgia. It's going to make it harder for the EU and the West to get in there. Which brings me back to what I was talking about much earlier in the stream about Romania and how we have to watch carefully what's going on there. So if that's the case, then it makes better sense for Erdogan to stay out of the decision-making process and act like he's, he can play a Joe Manchin or whatever, in the sense that he can keep it hanging for as long as possible. Because if you think about an increasingly powerful Russia in the Black Sea, they become the de facto kingmaker for whether or not the energy reserves that I think are all over the damn Black Sea get put online. And you could say, well, that would make NATO even more eager to use Turkey as the way to get in there and push back. Yes. But it's also going to mean that were they to agree to something that was really good for them there, and Russia agreed too, now you've got the two biggest forces in the Black Sea that have agreed to things, and they could pretty much lock everyone else out. I mean, not completely lock them out, but you see what I mean? I mean, you've got the Crimea under control of the Russians and the Bosphorus under the control of the Turks, and they've together got the two biggest navies there, and the two biggest militaries in the neighborhood. So there's just a lot for him to gain by dragging out any decision about Finland and Sweden. So I don't know where that's going to go. If things really fall apart in the Ukraine, then there's every possibility that there's going to be some serious reviews of NATO and its role and all that kind of stuff. All right. Scarlet MP says, since no one is throwing, thanks for that question, Nullus Abnormocracy. Thank you very much. Scarlet MP says, since no one is throwing many questions, I'm a working class family of 7, defense, but no real food stores, 1 used car that carries 6 max. How fucked am I in the near future? That all depends on whether you set yourself up with inexpensive things that you socked away for food, whether or not you've got any kind of renewable food sources that you can work out around you, whether that's, a 22 rifle with a really long barrel shooting 22 shorts to take down squirrel, or a damn air rifle to take down squirrels. Whether you've got, city water that can be cut off, or you have a well, whether you have access to water of some other kind and the ways to process it to make it potable. It depends on how close you are to marauding, cannibal hordes that might come rolling out of cities if there were a problem. I mean, I would just put whatever you can aside whenever you can, and try to behave as prudently as you can. If you've got a few firearms and some ammunition, don't worry about that. Worry about food and water and communications equipment, and making friends with the people around you so that you're not alone. That would seem to be like the most important thing. But there are all kinds of prepper channels and more, tactical kind of channels. I'm not really your guy for that. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Though as lovers go, I probably have more exposure to fighting than most of them. Delicious. So I just had a little thing I did there on the Black Sea. That wasn't a total waste of time, I hope. Let's see here. Dark Glasses Woody says, does the metaphysical flux precede the kinetic? Are we leaves on the water imagining our volition? Well, old Tim used to say, we are far from causality, Oliver. But he was talking from the kind of perspective that mystics take. So I don't know, man. Your guess is as good as mine. Charles Manson used to say, death must be the craziest trip of all because they saved it for last. Or so I was told. Evan S says, Semigog Tim, whoa, this thing just updated. Sweet baby Jesus. Sorry. Whew. Where'd I go? Okay. What? God damn, I hate when it does this. God damn, I was way behind. I need to speed up. Sorry, folks. I'm going to take these questions more quickly. I didn't realize I was so far behind. I'm sitting here just droning on, missing everybody. Sorry, peoples. Okay, so Dark Glasses Woody said, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I think, your guess is as good as mine. We'll have to wait until after we die to see. Evan S. says, Tim once said the blue commies in the West would fail after the reds in the East due to their need to keep up appearances. Any reason to think we've deviated from this course? Taiwan. Man, I don't know. I am embracing learned ignorance, as Nicholas of Cusa used to talk about it. The only learned position any man can take is to fully embrace their ignorance. I mean, I love speculating. Love it. I love it. I enjoy it. And I think that for whatever my meager successes and whatever my dramatic failures, I don't think it's an entire waste of time for everyone to listen to it, because I think I bring some interesting stuff to the table in terms of how to think about the problems. But man, at this point, the fog of war, and we're not just talking about kinetic warfare, we're talking about the fog of all these forms that fall under unrestricted warfare, plus the information warfare and propaganda, plus the censorship and the canceling. At this point, you'd have to be like the lion that no matter what yapping of the hyenas was going on in all directions would innately sense where the matriarch is in the darkness and go straight for it and break its back. That's the only way that you can solve these problems. And my skill is certainly not sufficient to figure out what's going on. I guess that's a long way of saying that right now, I have no fucking idea what's coming next, dude. It's maybe after I've been up here a few months and I've got some perspective and I'm not destroying thousands of dollars worth of computer equipment because I'm an imbecile, I'll be able to sit back and think through it and have something appear to me clearly. But at this point, I have a few flashes where I'm like, I can start to feel like I can begin to put that map together in my head again of what pieces go where. But it's still It's in pieces because I haven't maintained it, as I was talking about earlier. So sorry, that's not better. Evan S. Edward the Pale says Semigog is Autopole a Sufi warlock. Autopole is and is not many things. What he definitely is an accomplished scholar. I don't know that I would call him a Sufi warlock, though. I don't know about that. Basic says Semigog, what will capitulate first? EU, presumably through lack of oil, or USA dollar, or Russia. I don't think Russia's going to capitulate, and I think it's going to become a fait accompli within. I mean, I don't know. I'm not guessing because I don't know how things are going to go in Ukraine, other than my firm belief that the Russians will come out on top. Maybe not as on top as they want to be, but I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. Anybody who approaches it in good faith would sit down and say, yeah, they pretty much did win, if not something more dramatic. So I think it's just going to be a fait accompli in terms of what's going on there, and in consequence, the EU is just going to have to suck it, and the United States will find a way to try to paint it as a victory, and maybe it will be simply because the fall of Ukraine will provide them with a pretext to launder even more money through there in even more crooked ways. And then with the total fall, they'll never have to be accountable for it, because they'll say it's the fault of the Russians who bombed the offices or destroyed the record keeping or whatever, I'm so sorry, all the records were lost in the fire. So, yeah, I think Russia's going to come out ahead on that. I realize there are others who disagree, and that's fine too. Colonel Crayon says, Semigog, talk about books. Do you have any particular old or valuable volumes? Waiting for a 4-volume set on the history of English law from 1783 to arrive. Paid the sucker price of £350. They're worth $1 to $2K. Oh, I'm sorry. Paid the sucker. You didn't pay the sucker price. Sounds great, man. I have a few valuable books. Most of them are not in that level. I think I've got one by Henri Moser Charlottenfels on Central Asian weapons that was published at the beginning of the 20th century. I think maybe in the 20s. I can't remember. Maybe it was the 30s. God damn, I can't even remember. It's over here somewhere. Oh no, it's in the other building now because I have the weapons collecting books in the house. So I've got, what am I saying? And I had some of those rebound in leather properly by badass bookbinders. So I don't know, those things that was worth 500 even in its original paperback format. It's rebound in leather now on boards. I don't know. I've probably got a handful of books that are, $400 and $500, and then probably loads of them that are like $100 each now to get a hold of them. Some of the academic works from like Oxford University Press on like the Orphic religion, or on Imagines and ancestor masks in Rome. Lots of those books, the academic ones, are easily worth $100 a piece, and I've got walls and walls and walls, and very little of it. Very little of my books, very few of my books are fiction, and most of them are obscure, kind of weird nonfiction. I just had one set I found that was kind of cool. Hang on. All kinds of crazy old stuff from back in the day. This one just tripped me out. I used to see this on the shelves in the late 70s and early 80s, or maybe early 80s. Yeah, this is an early Llewellyn series, kind of a crappy imprimatur, but towards the late days, they were low quality, but they republished things like the 4 books of occult philosophy and stuff. So I found this old Llewellyn set in Tim's stuff. The Magical Philosophy, Book 1, Robe and Ring, Book 2, The Apparel of High Magic, Book 3, The Sword and the Serpent, Book 4, The Triumph of Light, Denning and Phillips. So there's a good bit of sort of this old ritual magic cheese that I've found up in there. And those are probably worth something these days. I don't know. But I found this one, man. Tim just had the trippiest shit. Sacrament. This is some sort of, I guess this is Catholic. Yeah, the Roman Missal, revised by decree of the Second Vatican Council and published by authority of Pope Paul VI. the Sacramentary, 1985, and it's a grand old book designed to look good on the altar, with all kinds of like color coding and everything. I've got some great stuff on the Christian fathers. Yeah, I've got all kinds of shit up in there. See, I'm screwing up and I'm taking too long on these questions now. I'm going to wet my beak. Oh, God damn, that's good. Hang on, I have to refill this now. Good Lord Almighty. I love me some apple juice. It's just best if you don't spill it all over your goddamn computer. Okay, this will be a big one. Yeah, by the time I get to the end of this one, we're all going to be good friends. That's disgusting sounds I'm making. Forgive me. Just put me in mind of that. Why is this? Come on now. Get in focus. Put me in mind of that old joke. First, there's going to be drinking. Oh, awesome. I'll come to your party. Yep. And then there's going to be some fighting. Oh, well, I'm up for a little bit of that. Fine. I ain't scared. And then there's going to be some fucking. The guy's like, woo, sign me up. Great party. Who's going to be there? And the guy's like, me and you. Yep. By the time I get done with that drink, we're going to be good friends. All right. Where did I leave off? Colonel Crayon's question about books. Basic asks about China liberating Taiwan this year. I don't know. And I haven't looked at it closely enough. I have been out of geopolitics. So, yeah, forgive me. I am going to try and get up on it. That's one thing I thought quite a bit about over the last month, is that I really need to get the geopolitics going again. And I need the proper partner for discussions like this on the channel. Russian-German axis, I tend to agree with Tim. I think it is going to happen. But there are too many parties in the way of it now, and there's too much uncertainty in Russia as to how to handle it. There are a bunch of streams with me talking with Tim about that subject, and population movements, bringing the more skilled population of the Germans who don't have any room over into Russia. But the Russians who are resistant to that, Otto Pohl certainly can talk at length. He has a new book out now, covering aspects of this in terms of the German diaspora and the fate of the Germans in Russia. So, Germans have tried to go to Russia before and it didn't go well. So there's some historical things to deal with there, and Russian attitudes to deal with, and a whole bunch of powers that want to block that. But I think ultimately it's going to happen. I think it is. There's too much space, too many resources, and Russia is having to deal with population pressures in a variety of ways, although they're probably not as bad as they once were, and as I might have imagined, or as I might imagine they are now. See, again, it's a problem because I've not looked at it in so long. Z Central Academic Agency says, where can I send mead to you? Give me an address. Yeah, I have to get a post office box. But they do have them at the post office I've been going to. God, it's crazy. These days I say I'm going into town. I'm like, well, I reckon I'll just go into town tomorrow. And it takes me like 25 minutes to get into town. And it's not a big town. So, yeah, I like it. Like, well, I suppose I better go into town, put my braces on, head into town. Yeah, so I'll look at getting a post office box. And once I get one, I will let you know. Thank you for thinking of me. Meadster. Okay, Man Ray of Hope has some kind of question about archeons. Do you mean archons, like evil governing spirits? I'm not really sure I understand the question. El Vaquero 555 says, Semiagog, you want to get off fossil fuels without global starvation? It's nuclear plus manufacturing, liquids, fuels, lubricants. If you can do that, you can make plastic. Manufacturing, liquids, fuels, lubricants. If you can do that, you can make plastic. I'm not sure I understand the statement. Are you saying that, yeah, we'll get off of fossil fuels, but there's no way we'd go after plastics? Or that there's some other way to make plastic I'm not aware of? I'm sorry, I'm slow, dude. I just destroyed my computer last night. I'm dumb. So if you can rephrase it, I'll check it out. I'm not giving you I'm central academic agency. I'm going to remove that damn comment. While I'm giving financial advice. I'm not giving financial advice, as you well know. Okay. What's next? Fuck June. I just rejigged my financial portfolio based on semi-gog advice. Yeah, no, you didn't, because it wasn't financial advice. And just to be friendly, I'm taking that off of there too. All right, what's next? Kel says, I wonder how much of that 40 billion in weapons is quietly going to Central Asia, Russia's soft underbelly. I expect most of that money is going into the pockets of the military industrial complex and its lackeys in the US, and that not that much of it is making its way further east. So yeah, I don't I'm not, yeah. Nah, I don't know, man. There's so many crooked freaks here in the West that need their beaks to get wet that, yeah, I have my doubts. Which is not to say that there couldn't be all kinds of problems in Central Asia in future, but that business in Kazakhstan got shut down pretty solidly because not only does Russia not want the trouble there right now or ever, China doesn't want the trouble in that general region right now either. So you got two major powers there that are hammering pretty hard on keeping that calm. So I'm not sure. Meh. All right, let's see here. Another one. Kel says, Semigog, is it in the Turks' nature to agree to share oil resources in the Black Sea or to simply try and take them? Or to simply try to take them? No, the Turks are perfectly able to keep a civilized veneer on their negotiations. And the reality of Russian power in the region means that the Turks aren't going to be able to take it all by themselves. They would have to have NATO's help if they wanted to push Russia off that table. And I'm convinced that the majority of, or at least a huge portion, a significant portion of why what's happening in Ukraine is happening right now comes down to control over Black Sea resources. So I guess what I'm saying is that for Turkey to be able to push Russia out of there, it would need NATO backup. And if NATO doesn't do so well and it's in the war, it pretends it's not involved in at present, then that's going to tell you sort of what the situation on the ground is. Ukraine's military isn't as big as Turkey's, I don't believe, but it's not a small army. And so Ukraine right now is getting Turkish assistance, quiet Turkish assistance of some kinds, and a whole lot of assistance in terms of money and weapons from the US and help from NATO. And if they can't take the Russians out or stall them significantly, then what hope is Turkey going to have of doing that in the Black Sea with, Russian hypersonic missiles, their Navy, their cruise missiles, their submarines and the rest. So it would make more sense, coming back around to that earlier point, for Erdogan to wait to see how it goes. If NATO and the US and the rest are successful in Ukraine, then they know who the partner is, the one that was able to push Russia back. And then with Turkish help in the Black Sea, sure, they can do it. But if they're not successful, then Turkey's thinking to itself, abi pek emin değilim, belki başka bir şey hazırlanabiliriz. Yani konuşalım. They're waiting in the background to see who comes out on top, and then they could be the kingmaker to like solidify the status quo once that who comes out on top is made clear. All right. Lance Corporal Veteran. Hello. Good to see you. Says, does it seem Russia is using old politics of conquest to express power, influence, and exploit resources? No, it seems to me that Russia was pushed up against a wall, and that if they hadn't done anything, there was all kinds of weirdness that was about to start, thanks to, our spooks and others, and, the various ambitions of the globalists in the Ukraine. All of this is assuming, however, that we're not in a situation, as somebody just asked about earlier, which is the idea that actually the West and Russia at some levels are working together to put the whole world in a nutcracker to force the next level of change. But yeah, in any case, I don't think that Russia is just trying to like, flex its muscles old fashioned or something. I think they had a real strategic interest in doing what they did. Whether you agree with it or not, I'm not saying I do. I don't really care. Um, I look at it as being a matter of realpolitik. Um, so yeah, God, now see, I am so damn far behind now. I'm going to jump over these if they're not ones that I have good answers for. So apologies, people. Um, oh, cool. Z Central Academic Agencies talking about posting stuff about home pressure canning food. I have a bunch of blueberry bushes, man. I have a bunch of full grown blueberry bushes. Some of them are taller than I am. And let's see, the birds may go after them hard. They're not ripe yet. If I can get off my ass and do it, I might get some netting to protect them. But I got blackberries too, or raspberries. I think they're blackberries. I'm going to be able to start making some jams and some preserves, some jellies. And that's going to be the beginning. I can start setting up my larder, plant myself some elderberry, make myself some elderberry wine, elderberry tea, start with some easy stuff. I can't wait at least to have jelly, And if I can come up with some kind of blueberry preserves, might be a little bit weird. It'll be my first, but I'm going to be making me some preserves. Men Like God says, Semigog, as is well known, Turkey has the world's largest tanks force. Where are they planning on using this force? Iraq, Syria, Bulgaria? Yeah, I don't know. They need somewhere fairly flat to do so. And most of Turkey ain't like that. It's pretty rough country, a lot of it. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. I'm sure some portion of it is intended for places like Syria, but I do not know. Fael is in the house. Hello. What is next? Who else here? Felix the Cat says Semigog is still around. Cool. Yes, I still live. Lance Corporal Veteran says Semigog. Alex Dugan said Russia is using what he called land power versus sea power to express their power, influence, and exploiting of resources, but I translated it as just old-fashioned conquest politics. Yeah, I don't follow him, so I could not say. I mean, a lot of these you folks are probably more up on this at present than I am in a lot of ways. So again, I need to find the right cool person to hang with to get me into that again, where I'm working with someone on it. So it's not just my brain. I do very well, but in order for me to do that when I can, it's helpful if I'm dealing with a interlocutor who helps to kickstart my sometimes otherwise wandering and stuttering mind. All right. A question about gaming that I can't answer. Not even sure it's serious. Semigog. Edward the Pale says, Semigog, you ruined used books smell for me with that tweet. What tweet? I don't know what tweet you're talking about. Asleep in Avalon says Semigog Latina or Asian women. I was into Asian women briefly when I was like a teenager, like between 16 and how old was I? In fourth grade, I had a crush on a Chinese girl named Jenny Jujin Chang, and I was wearing these red sneakers. I told this story once, and I was out on the in the yard, recreation yard or whatever by the playground, and I was like, man, I'm going to show off my red shoes, and so I was running. And this is the fucking 70s. I'm like running in my red shoes, and I'm looking over to see if she can see me, and then I'm looking down to see if I can see my red shoes and what she must be seeing, my cool red shoes. And I ran straight into a fucking tree, man. Yeah, and my whole thing with Asian women, I got over by age 20, and I was never into Latino women at all. I had nothing against them. It just wasn't my thing. So the answer to both is no. I like European women best. Anatolian women are mighty. But yeah, I'm very much a fan of the European woman. Edward the Pale says, Semigog still thinking of having a discussion with Thomas 777. Yes, I need to follow up with him about it. But I can only do that now. He got booted from Twitter, so he's over on Telegram. So I'm going to have to do that soon. As soon as I get my other machine on, I'll go over and follow up on that. Oh, yeah. Edward the Pale says Charlemagne shared Otto Poll's book link earlier in the chat. You guys can scroll back there and find it. Definitely support Dr. Poll. Simic77 says, hail Semigog, right back at you. Baby Squirrel says, you need a Semigog golf cart for down trips. No, hell no. I'm taking my big old American car. Look at me. I'm just leaving my damn whiskey right here in the danger zone again. Why y'all let me keep doing that? It's that magic moment. There wasn't much ice left, but what ice there was enough to get everything cool. But by the time it all melted, it didn't water the whole drink down. It's still nice and dark because I poured so much in there. Just one more time. I want y'all to come with me down this road. I tell you what, you youngsters will never understand. A certain age you reach where just not like it tasted bad before, but whiskey just starts tasting good. Tuesday, F.A. Tuesday, who is singing Black Dobbin songs earlier, says, while I have a great love of the Southern Confederation, I absolutely hate America and curse the stars and stripes. Is this healthy? It can't be any less healthy than anything else. You'll certainly find all kinds of European dissident right people who are perfectly willing to get on board with you on that. I mean, you start talking to like Faust in Holland. I call him Mesoamericanus because he just despises Americans. Yeah, a lot of people will join you in that. I won't. I don't hate my country, but I certainly hate what it is at present. Hell, where'd it go? I thought I saw earlier Noah Solomon in the house. Somehow I looked back again and didn't see that message, though. If you're still around, howdy, sir. It was good to see you here. Sorry I didn't find your comment. Let me scroll down here and see what else we got. Parmesan Valjean says, Semigog, how did you destroy your computer? Well, the short version of the story, I will say again, is I had this shaker and I had my beautiful old-fashioned mixed up in here, about 3 doubles-ish, so there was quite a bit, and it was all closed up, but I set it down here on the desk, and my hand bumped it, and when I did, it tipped. There was a lid on it because I'm not that stupid, right? But it fell, and for whatever reason, it hit it just the right angle that it went thunk and popped open and literally just poured the whiskey all over my new 16-inch MacBook Pro. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm going to let it dry over there in front of the dehumidifier until Monday. And even if I can get it to turn on, I'm still going to have to take it in to get it clean because all that shit up inside it is going to ruin it. So there's a financial rape in my future, I feel sure. All right. El Vaquero followed up. Semigog, if you have carbon plus hydrogen plus electricity, you can manufacture liquid fuels compatible with existing infrastructure. Octane. If you can do that, you can make plastic. So what? It's a kind of plastic that doesn't entail any use of fossil fuels? I still don't understand. I still don't. I don't. Hello. I don't know where I am. Will you be my invisible friend? I don't. I'm sorry. Come again. Try one more time, friend. Pietro Longhi says, I'm a pissed, a smoking and a drinking. Si fosse fuoco, l'arderà il mondo. Sorry. Lance Corporal Veteran. Semigog just found out why department is tax-free. or debt is tax-free, and why one rich guy called it a way to get rich because the government doesn't want banks to charge them too high an interest. Yeah, you're probably ahead of me in terms of understanding economics. I ain't no economic power player, my friend. Sadly. All right, hang on now. Let me get over here. Figure out where I am on this thing. What other kind of questions do we have? I'm going to have another delicious cigarette. Oh, Philosoph Cat's in the house too. Howdy, hey. Man, I'm sorry I couldn't put an announcement out on Telegram, but I'm not over there right now, so I can't check to see who's messaged me or anything. I don't have it set up on this computer, but I'll do that shortly. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get it sorted out, but for the moment I'm all fucked up. I mean, more fucked up than I am normally. John Swanson says, Semigog, what do you think of India buying cheap oil from Russia and refining it and selling it to the West? I heard them talking about that over on the Duran. It wouldn't surprise me. It sounds exactly like the kind of shit they normally do. So, yeah. Don't know what to tell you there. Proud White Settler is in the house. Hello, sir. He says, where can one obtain one of them stylish Vlad the Impaler shirts? I found mine on Amazon. I found 2 different ones on Amazon. Actually, I'm beginning to want to caress myself here. My Vlad shirt. Sorry. Too much. You should be able to find it with a little bit of looking, Proud White Settler on Amazon. I need to come up with some merch. I need to come up with some shirts. What else do we have here? Lance Corporal Veteran says, Semigog, one good thing about the internet is how all those so-called wild voices in the wilderness are now being looked at like prophets and wise men. Maybe they're also going on all kinds of special lists, you know, your tax dollars at work. I don't know, man. This is a bad week for me. I fucked up my computer. I'm trapped in the forest with scorpions. I mean, things actually are quite good, but just this week they seem quite bad. And also, I'll tell you what, man, all bullshitting and all joking aside, there is something truly and deeply poisonous about looking at the shit that you look at on a platform like Twitter, seeing the filth that you see of a variety of kinds in the media, in the news, in the news. It's so repulsive. It's so nauseating. It's so revolting. All of it that I still have some bad days. I don't generally like to talk about it. And it's immature to allow yourself to stay there because you're supposed to meet your challenges with more philosophy. But just to be honest with everyone, man, this shit where, like, you know, the bong master from the girls' dorm, Trudeau, shows up and like no more handguns will ever be sold or transferred or imported into New Zealand has been disarmed. Australia's been disarmed. Canada now is busy roguering its own rear end. The United States is... The aesthetics is not the least off-putting thing about all of this. I mean, yeah, there are all the realities of the corruption and the insanity and the evil and the criminality that they get up to, and the fact that they do what they do with impunity. Just the aesthetics of it, that they would force me to live in this greasy sewage. Anyway, so yeah, it tends to put me down. It tends to make me not happy, and so I'm tending to look at situations where you really could say that the glass is half full. And just because of how horrifying all of it is at present, I'm just inclined to say, no, it's half empty. But I will get over it, and it's not going to last long because, as I said, it's immature. I don't recommend that attitude to anyone. It never got anyone anything. But I'm just telling you, like the rest of you probably at times, sometimes I just look at it and I'm like, I don't even know where to start with this shit, you know? But one thing at a time, each thing in its order. Um, PMA, positive mental attitude, man. Straight fucking edge. Just draw a little X on here. Okay. What's next? Do we have any other questions? Who else is in the house here? Looks like you guys are talking to each other in the background. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's see here. What the Bard Morbiquet is in the house. Yep. Speaking of fucking Australia. That dude, he's a fucking pirate. Go check out his channel. He's actually, I love the fact that he's got all the old sea shanties and that he's working on those. My dad loved those things. And, you know, I actually, you know, go and watch the old clip of the dude doing the roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old. And actually, I've been totally getting into Tree Martelot. You should check that out, man. Morbiquet. There's that. It's a Alain Stivell song that it came out of Brittany. I believe it's an 18th century song. I mean, it's older than Alain Stivell, but he reinterpreted it and redid it and made it famous again. And it's about three sailors who sail the sea. It's actually excellent song. Tree Martelot, some shit like that. I can't remember all of it. Check it out, man. Songs sung by sailors are the best songs, and Morbiquet sings some of those songs. So check out his channel, check out his music, and he'll even throw down with some fucking metal, man. So yeah, check him out. He eats a chicken with two hands like this. I'm not talking about cutting pieces off of it. What else? Dark Glasses Woody says, Semigog, if the normies are happy, are we the fools? No, because the normies are never happy. Never listen to what they tell you. None of it's true. It's all bullshit. They're all liars. Yeah. So I saw somewhere where Philosophicat said that Australia hasn't been fully disarmed. It's just really difficult. Yeah, it's really, really difficult. Like, I think the best you can get if you're outside the cities, and maybe you need to get a permit for it, I can't remember, is you can get a pump shotgun. And it sure as hell ain't got like some kind of 7-round magazine on it, if I had to guess. Or 6-round magazine and, you know, 1 in the chamber, 5 or whatever it is. It's probably like 3 rounds or some shit. You know, I think maybe they'll let you have like 22 bolt actions and shit like that. As far as I'm concerned, they're effectively disarmed. And in Canada, certainly there are people who still have long guns and the rest, but the steps have been taken. The writing's on the wall. And that to me is a big deal. So I guess, yeah, we'll see. Boomer 21, hello, sir, says your views on the third world mass illegal immigration in light of the upcoming food shortages as well as rolling blackouts. Well, my view is that there's going to be a whole lot more of it, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. So you better learn to like the idea, or what is it said? It's Strother Martin. What we have here is failure to communicate. Yeah, they don't give a shit. They're going to keep pumping it in. They're going to pack as much of it in. It's going to be like trying to fill a suitcase and like jump up and down on it to zip it closed. They're going to pack us so full of people from other places that that we got our hands full just dealing with the destruction that wreaks upon our various countries. Just as I was leaving Atlanta, I went to this bank to go get a check, and while I was waiting in line, this African guy came in. And he comes in, he's all happy because he's from Africa. And, you know, he comes in and he's smiling, big black face, black man. You know, I'm from Africa. I am not milk chocolate colored like, you know, now I'm going into an Indian accent. Anyway, he was hardcore black African. And he's like, hello, I came into America 1 day ago. You know, I want to open bank account. And He's just smiling at everyone, and everyone's being, almost making little cry eyes at him, talking about how, oh, that's so sweet, that's so amazing. Listen, you'll just need to go down to the such and such and get the such. Just walking around like a kid in a candy shop, just grinning in every direction. Showed up 2 days ago and is setting up a bank account as soon as he can get himself a social security card. And I'm sure there won't be anything fishy about that at all. Everywhere, just flooding in. And because it's all being hidden, we don't see it. So, yeah, it's a wonderful thing. Diversity is our strength. And I can't tell you how happy I am to be so diverse and to be strengthened in that way. So Boomer 21, I would say, embrace the diversity. It cannot help but make you stronger. It's actually the only measure of strength that remains. And I love it. Don't you? All right. Julius Flavius, smoking like the comic character John Constantine, Semiagog, though you're likely not as degenerate as he gets. Well, I used to be as degenerate as anybody. I'm just, I'm reformed now. Okay. Und was is next here? What am I missing here? Why does Chris Gard Morbiquet keep saying Ama? I don't. Is this Philosophicat? What the fuck is going on with this Morbiquet dude? He just keeps saying Ama? I don't. Is this some fucking Oz thing? I don't understand. Okay. What's next? I just saw somebody told me defeatism is fucked up. Stop it. Or something like that. I agree. I just tried to say that myself. Fuck. Whenever I try to catch up with these, it refreshes and I get lost. I swear to God, normally I can chew gum and walk. Here's my little paper towel. I'm getting a little bit glistening. I'm getting a little bit hot in here. Let me just, here we go. I need some powder. Sorry. Okay. Enough of that. What's next? Somebody talking about beer halls. I have no idea what he's talking about. Tuesday, FA Tuesday says, Semigog, remember there are other forces at work in this world besides those of evil. Yes! That is true. Okay. What is next? Peacock says, love sea shanties. Absolutely. Oh, Chris Gard Morbiquet says, I'm doing Roll the Old Chariot next. Nice. Fucking hammer that motherfucker. The power. You must have the huge, powerful chorus, though, man. That chorus is what just made me like, Black Dobbin. Like, fucking, get enough people in there. People with good voices like yours. You got a very strong voice, but you got to get a bunch of testosterone up in that shit, man. Have them feel the power. There's a great old film. My dad made me watch it. My dad was way into sailing. He was a Sea Scout when he was young. My mother and father, when they first got married, they lived on a sloop. My brother grew up on that. My brother got the taffrail log and the fucking sextants. I got his barograph. My mom got the ship's wheel when he died. He's got a shitload of books, old marine books. One of these days, I'm going to find the right person to give those to. Those must be passed on to someone who will really dig them. Anyway, he was way into sea shanties and sailing and all the rest. Was always trying to teach me knots as a kid, and etc. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, and he showed me this video. It was a film that was shot sometime, I guess, 1920-ish, maybe the teens, maybe the 20s. And it was one of the last clipper ships that went around Cape Horn. And this guy was showing in the beginning how he's doing headstands on top of power poles and or telegraph poles or whatever they were. And you can see him riding these penny farthings around and falling off of them and stuff. He's getting himself in training to be a sailor on this clipper. But they show him in these storms, man, way up in the rigging. And the shit's like whipping around him. Like these sails are just because they haven't been furled completely or whatever it is where you roll them up. I ain't no damn sailor. My dad would be ashamed. But anyway, there's one scene where this dude, he said that he had seen in some Errol Flynn movie how a guy had gone down the edge of a sail by holding the edge of a sail, like to drop to the deck like a buccaneer or whatever. And he said he wanted to try this. And I'm watching this dude. There's footage of him like fucking just pinch grip like this on the edge of a piece of sailcloth to come down it, holding his whole weight with his hands. And he fucking did, man. You can hear him. He narrates the whole thing. Hell, you might have seen it already, but he's an old man when he narrates it. He's like, and yes, and this is when we went around the horn. And, you know, back in those days, they didn't have any insurance. You know, you just held on, because if you didn't hold on, you know, and there's the captain. He didn't like all of us. He had, look, you could see his whole hand covered the entire top of our head as he shaves our head. And there's that little dog. He's sick on all of us to get us up into the rigging quick, you know. I bring all of that up because when I said you got to get the fucking testosterone in those old shanties, I mean, it's supposed to be fucking men's voices, and powerful ones, like in sets where they overlap with each other and create that full fucking wall of sound. But I mean, I don't know music well. You know this already. I'm just saying, make it fucking powerful. And check out Trimortolod. It's a great song. Okay. Semigog, island versus mountain people. Mountain every time. Every time. I mean, best is when you have an island that has some mountains on it, and then you end up with fucking, like, you know, freaks of nature like the Scots. And I guess the Welsh have some highlands too. I just don't know Britain well enough. I like mountain people. I like the coast. I have enough Mediterranean blood, but some part of me wants like real forests. I don't want scrubby ass arid climate type stuff. I want the emerald fucking forests. I come from the southeast. I'm used to Appalachia and trees and green. I like cold rivers, and mountains and hills and trees. I like the beach too, but not our beaches. I like, you know, the beaches on the Mediterranean. Oh, that's it. Say goodbye. Is there any left in there? Oh, sweet God in heaven. Oh, no. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, folks. Oh, my God. There's just a few last fleeting drops. And like that, like sands through the hourglass, these are the days of our lives. But people, because I love you, I'm going to stay till for 2 hours. So that gives us, I don't know, it gives me about another... what is that, 25 minutes, 24 minutes or something? Oh, I'm going to save that last little taste. Oh, no, I'm not. Brisk and delicious. I see King Salmon Fish is in the house. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us. I'm trying not to kill all boomers right now. All right, what's the next question? Did the Rolling Tuesday FA Tuesday? Did the Rolling Stones accidentally plant the seeds of Oi Rock with "Get Off My Cloud"? I don't know. What's Oi Rock? Is that like Screwdriver? Or I don't know. What's Oi Rock? I can't answer that question. Okay. El Vaquero is back. He's a proper hunter, man. He does not give up. He stays on his quarry. He says, he's very patient with me. Thank you, sir. He says, with enough electricity, you don't need oil to make fuels, lubricants, or plastics. Just carbon and hydrogen. Navy has tech that pulls CO2 out of water, makes fuel $3 a gallon. Wow. I'm going to have to go look at some fucking basic chemistry since I'm a dolt. I'm actually, to be honest with you guys, I'm a little bit jealous of El Vaquero 555. He seems, I'm just going to say, he seems like more of a real man than I am. He can fucking go out and lay down some weird fucking horned creature with his 7.62 by 51 or his AR-10 or whatever he's got going on. He's four-wheeling. He's dodging the fucking cartels. He got his garden going, and he can lecture me about fucking lubricants and plastics and all this high-tech stuff. And he stays pretty up on everything from the situation at the border to stuff that's going on with the coof. I'm just ashamed. I'm just a girly man. I didn't even know this. I'm going to have to go all joking aside, I'm gonna have to go dig into that El Vaquero because I didn't even know. See, that's why I have to get some more real men as friends because they'll force you. Like when I hung around computer nerds, I learned a bunch about computers. When I hang around people who have good, solid, complete knowledge of all these other things, I learned something. I've been too long with the intellectuals. You can bridge that gap, El Vaquero. You can bridge that gap to speak across the distance, both intellectually and in terms of answering that basic animalistic masculine need to dominate the environment around you. I need more strong, intellectual, powerful men of this sort around me. Otherwise, I'm just going to fucking continue to read like old occult books. Whatever. I have my own specializations. I just don't happen to know much about plastics. And I was thinking the other day, that's the other problem is when you got a pistol, you're all like, fuck, man, I'm a good shot. I've carried a handgun for a very long time. I'm capable with it. I'm good. I'm quick. But one thing is if you carry it for fucking 30 years, then you know where it is and you don't have any problems finding it and you can draw it super fast, all that kind of stuff. But you ain't got no damn range with a handgun. I mean, if you're some kind of pistolero badass, sure, but it's not like a rifle. And I'm out in the country with all these good old boys who, you know, shot long guns their whole lives. I'm not a bad shot, but I'm not a good one either with a long gun. And you just have to think to yourself, like, fuck, I'm going to have to disassemble and get up close to them because they'll just fuck me up with rifle. The other thing is fucking thermals. I got to get some thermals, man. Anybody knows the most bang for your buck. If it ain't that fucking Fleur Scout or whatever, I want to know the best thermals out there. I've seen there's some Chinese ones that have higher resolution, but they're bigger and they're heavier. And I hate them. Their warranties don't go as long. I got to get with a bunch of country people to fill in the gaps in my masculinity. I'm sure I will get that sorted soon. Okay, next question. Und next. By the way, I'm not controlling my smoking for these days. That's my gimme for having destroyed my computer. I'm like, woe is me. I'm gonna smoke more. Philosophicat says you can get pistols and rifles and such, but they're limited to I think 10 rounds. I went to the shooting range many times. You know better than me because you were there more recently, but I heard it was pretty bad there. Brandon Williams says, Semigog, thoughts on Venezuela, specifically the USA wanting them to produce more oil in exchange for less sanctions. Cheers from multiracial schizo and the Cayman Islands. Looking nice. I love me a multiracial schizo. Cayman Island sounds cool anyway. So cheers right back at you. I have not looked at Venezuela either. I am sorry because that's why I was thinking about this recently. A lot of people came to this channel because of Tim Flatley, and a lot of people came because of the geopolitics, and that has just fallen. So I am going to get it started again. It's just going to take you got to sit down and cram for a couple of weeks to find out where the pieces that you stopped tracking for a while have ended up. And you got to build up a little bit of a head of steam as context for the various statements that you hear people make. So you got some background and you have something to compare it to. Otherwise, you're sort of lost in the present moment. And right now, I just, due to the complications associated with finding a new home and all the rest, I have not been able to keep up with it. So check me on the next AMA, and maybe I will be a little bit better. I hope I'll be a little bit better. So bear with me. Und what is next? Did I miss? Holy shit. There are no more questions. Oh. Dark Glasses Woody. Semigog, is status quo still a representation of balance? Nothing is taken without something being given? No, status quo seems to be a ferocious rump-rogering, to be honest with you. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't miss all the questions. You got PCAT fucking with me. Oh, 99 Iron Duke is in the house. Hopefully he and I can work out a topic to discuss together. Because I'd like to talk to him in the future. Check his channel out too. He's over in the UK, former military man. I like his content. Let me see where Okay, yeah. I left off where PCAT talked about rifles, and then it did something where it took me past the existing questions. Semigog, you should host a sea shanty live stream and invite people on to sing with you. Except I can't sing. Can't sing, Cat. I cannot sing. I know singers. I know what singers sound like, and they don't sound like me. What did I used to sing? My mom, when I was a little kid, she used to sing, uh, there were 3 gypsies come to my door, and downstairs ran this lady, oh. One sang high and the other sang low. They all sang Bonnie Bay of Biscay, oh. See, it's all flat or sharp or whatever it is because I'm fucking tone deaf. I can't sing. I'll have people on to sing, but since I can't sing, I'd feel left out. It would be soft wee wees all around. I'd be sad. Und was is next? Dixieland is a shanty, really, says Tuesday, F.A. Tuesday. Way down south in the land of cotton, old time ways are not forgotten. Sorry. Tone deaf. Und what is next? Whoa! What the fuck is running around on my desk? You motherfucking spider! Oh, you son of a bitch! Fucking Ragnarok! Ragnarok! Where'd you go, you bastard? Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize. Motherfucker, where'd you go? Did I get you? God damn, they're fucking everywhere. At least it wasn't a scorpion. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck. Why do they move so quickly? They're after me, goddammit. Oh. Okay, what's next? Fuck. You little bastard. I'll fucking kill you. All right, I think we're good. He went elsewhere. It's probably under the table. All right, where did I leave off? Dixieland is a shanty. I told you this was going to get increasingly rough as I finished my whiskey. Philosophicat says, Semigog, what time do people your age tend to need to go to bed? Fuck you. So sorry. I don't need to go to bed. I don't need to go to bed because I'm old enough to know better, young enough not to care. I'm good. I don't need to go to bed I need to go to bed by dawn because I hate fucking songbirds. I hate it. So I have to get in right before the sun comes up or I have to listen to those motherfuckers. So yeah, before dawn is when I need to go to bed. Coca-Cola says, Semigog, have you ever thought about doing voice acting apart from your role as Gabriella Marcate interviewing Morcar? I don't think I ever interviewed Morcar. Did I interview Morcar? Yes. Sometimes I do a kind of voice talent, and it has its moments if I get up and start to properly puke into the microphone. Yeah, I don't know. Not much. Fink Fingers says, nice to see you back. Oh, sleep time. He's going night-night. Good night. John Swanson says you need to own guns and kill something and eat it. I own guns, and I'll kill something and eat it once I can shoot it humanely and not waste any of it. And as I think I've said before, I'm probably going to start with squirrel. Squirrel's where I should start because I've got me some squirrel before, just killing them as a young man. And then I decided I didn't like killing something for no reason, but I'll kill them if I can eat them. All right, what else? Okay, now I'm back at a bunch of questions I thought I saw already. Oh, now it just did that thing. Oh my God. I'm lost now. What the fuck? Where am I? Ooh, Semigog. Kel says a quick thermal spotter scope is the best first acquisition. Picks everything out in a paddock. Yeah, that's like the FLIR Scout or whatever that I was looking at. You know, shit that's in the, what is it, in the $500 range, if I remember correctly. But oh, Sleep in Avalon says I'm pouring one out for homie Tim. Yes, he had a mighty laugh. The man, Mr. Bruticil. Pour one out for him. I'm sorry I didn't bring more out here for me, but as stupid as I am, I'd be more stupid if I drank more. What else? Yeah, so I will find a thermal spotter. PCAT says, Semigog, pretty sure drunken sailors are not the best singers in the world. Yeah. But no, when you're in a chorus of people, you got like one strong voice that's in front. If someone else who has good pitch is singing, I can match it or do a harmony off of it. It's when I'm in the fucking dark by myself. I'm all like, I can hear it. That's the other thing. It makes me fucking, it makes me fucking crazy because I can hear that it's not right. I'm singing it. I'm going, and I'm like, it's not fucking right. I can hear what's right. Generals gathered in their masses. See, that's fucked up. It's not right. Generals gathered in their masses. See, it's wrong. It's fucking wrong. I can hear it's wrong. How come I can hear it's wrong, but it doesn't come out of my... Anyway, yeah. So if a bunch of drunken sailors around and there's one guy who has a good voice in there and it cuts like a clarion call, like a fucking clarion, like they talked about Menelaus in the Iliad, voice like a clarion in battle. If the one male singer's standing up in the front and fucking bam, everybody can fucking join in and he keeps them together. It's like the lead dog amongst sled dogs in the Arctic, right? Keeps the sound right, keeps everybody in the right key or pitch or whatever the fuck you musicians call that shit. Yeah. So yeah, if you had somebody like Morbicay doing his fucking one of his sea shanties or some song about Botany Bay, I could take a read off that, but the problem is you have to do it on your own or you can't really do it. It ain't real. Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. I'm very angry that I can't sing. I take that personally. I'm pissed at my mother. I'm absolutely pissed at my mother for not teaching me how to sing. PCAT saying I don't know what a bug invasion is. You know, that fucking shop vac has so many goddamn wolf spiders and scorpions in it that you would not believe it. When I eventually have to empty it, and I'm gonna have to empty it, it's gonna look like fucking Pandora's box, dude. I got plenty of fucking bugs. Stephen James says that's the biggest microphone I've ever seen. Well, thank you, big boy. Get on the mic. Okay, what's next? Barky Malarkey says, how old are you, Semigog? I am... $50. It's fucking hard. Man. Okay, let's just move right along. What is next? Did I miss it? God, it fucking refreshed. What a pain in the ass. Okay, but everybody's laughing about the spider. When you see it go, it's near my little pink fingers, man. Oh, motherfucker biting me. I've never been shot. I've been bitten by a fucking black widow. I am not doing that shit again. They all die. Do not care. They all die. What else? Yeah, Kel says, yep, a decent one with 640 resolution thermal chip. Okay. If you want to, I wouldn't hate if you wanted to leave a comment about what basic minimum things I should look for in picking one out. Once this stream is done, you can put it in a comment, not in the chat section here. That would be helpful. Or you can DM me on Twitter as well. I would love that because I'm going to pick one out soon. I have to get a generator, and I want to get one that runs off of propane because gas doesn't seem to keep for shit. So I'm like, why not fucking propane? And I already got a giant propane tank. I need to get one that'll run off the propane. There's also some stuff going on with the pressure. Can't have it too far from the tank, or apparently I'll have some problems with it. Yeah, I need a generator. I need probably a new computer. So all of this is going to fucking have to wait. Thermal scope and some clip speakers. I've been listening to shitty speakers, and I want to get the headphones out of my ears. That's what I'm doing. I'm going back to the 70s and 80s. I'm buying some big ass tower speakers and fuck these headphones. I'm gonna rock out. I've been listening to fucking Smashing Pumpkins. Can you believe that shit? They actually hold up well. One of the albums, meh. Gish, I think it is, but Rhinoceros. No, maybe Gish one is all right. A bunch of that though, I'm digging. It's great music for working out too. Listening to Slayer, got to have that on some big ass speakers. I'm listening to like fucking old Morrissey, listening to Uriah Heep, listening to Sisters of Mercy. I got to have some fucking speakers. There we go. Queens of Stone Age is pretty good too for working out, but nothing quite. Metal is kind of the best for lifting. Although some of the compas for flamenco, it's 12 count beat. This kind of stuff, the 12 count rhythm, it breaks up nicely in a lot of ways. So if you're doing more complex movements and you're like me, where you like to lock whatever repetitive movements you are doing into the rhythm, then you can do it that way. And when it's bass 12, because it's so rich in factors, you can split it into 4s or 3s or 6s or 2s, and you can kind of find your spot in it to keep going. So some of that, even though it's repetitive, is is very very good for exercising. Peacock says something about so we just get you someone to lead the shanty and you join in when you feel confident, but you've sung like half a dozen songs already. So yeah, I mean, if I'm drunk and everybody's singing live, if nothing else, I can handle the rhythm. I get rhythm, and it's like sketching. It's like a black and white sketch, whereas the melody is like color and painting. So I can participate, and I can knit it together. And I'm not one of those annoying fucking dudes who's always had a drum kit, so never leaves room for anyone else and is always trying to fill everything with everything. I know how to work with the other rhythm people so that it's not just fucking always at 11. But I can't sing. The pitch, man. I was robbed. Okay, wait. Now it just jumped ahead. God damn it. Nullus Abnormocracy says I'm a young and good. PCAT says, Semigod, check your Telegram. I'll send you a video with a real big invasion. The only problem is I can't get to Telegram right now. So be aware of that. If I can get it on this computer tomorrow or get my other one turned on, but I can't get to it for the next day or so at least. Yeah. Sounds like Sonny Jim has the same singing problem. Lance Corporal Vetten talking about cadences, man. I remember when I went to see my brother who was graduating from basic, he had disappeared. And then we get this letter saying he's in the army. So he just split and went into the fucking army. And we went down when he was graduating from basic. And the first time I saw him with his fucking buzzed up head, marching along, singing cadences. And my brother doesn't like shit, but apparently he liked cadences. There's a reason that the cadences, labor songs, rhythm for oarsmen, all kinds of working songs, when people have to synchronize their efforts together, including cadences and marching. It's this whole aspect of the integration of human behavior based on rhythm and music that makes you more effective as a group. It's not just decoration, you know. It's a fascinating subject, and I've thought about doing a stream on it. The problem is that I can't carry the weight for it myself because I don't have the necessary background with music. The C Central Academic Agency says you're like as old as my grandfather. Motherfucker. Yeah. 99 Iron Duke catches spiders and puts them outside. Dude, clearly you don't have enough spiders. I've got so many. Yeah. Siamese Dream's a good one. Absolutely. Zed Des tells me to get a stereo system. Mm-hmm. Fucking Elva Carol. Yeah, he totally needs to appear in fucking Tom Selleck shorts and shit. I too am getting a generator. July hunt in a place called Jornada del Muerto. Jornada del Muerto volcano, the journey of death. I want AC in the camper. The place is aptly named in the summer. What you need to do is get one of those helmets that has little battery powered fans on it and get you like the beer helmet where you can put like 2 of the drinks down with the like hoses that come down. You totally be set, brother. You totally be set. They got good clothes, help keep you cooler. And I know where you live, you're already all over every kind of necessary hat, straw hat, whatever. You can keep it cool. But yeah, you want some AC. Yeah. Whew. Fucking spiders. Oh, I got taught as a kid too, 99 Iron Duke, not to kill spiders, but after you get tagged by a Black Widow, you'll be like, Jogger, please. Just fucking kill it, man. Who cares? I mean, if it's a little like, you know, spider up in the corners like I got everywhere here that just does cobwebs or whatever, they're only going to get got if I go through and vacuum them, you know. And if they're out there minding their own business, I'm not freaking out. I'm not super scared of snakes. I'm not super scared of bugs. But when they're right up in my zone, that Black Widow fucked me up, man. I remember lying there thinking, am I fucking dying? At that point, I didn't know what it was. I was like, what the fuck? And then I got bit on the hip and my whole waist went numb. My whole waist was fucking numb. Like you're pushing it and you go, is that there? Did my waist fall asleep? And then you start thinking about it. You're like, why is it numb? Oh, it's because the nerves have been so fucked up by the neurotoxin that they can't send signals properly. And then you're thinking to yourself, well, shit, what if that was up around my head or my neck or my chest instead of my hip? Like, what if it fucked with the nervous system signals that regulate involuntary processes like breathing or fucking, you know, the movement of my heart? Like, fuck no. All this, like, I ain't no Jane priest where I'm going to be like sweeping the ground to make sure I don't hurt some, you know, inoffensive little beetle when I sit down on it with my ass. I will kill the motherfucker. So yeah, I got taught not to kill him too. And I'm over that shit. And I'll tell you, 99 Iron Duke, if your dad had been bitten by a Black Widow or a brown recluse, shit, the fact that I didn't get more fucked up by that Black Widow, I was talking with Tim about it and he just laughed. I remember I was talking to him. He just did that deep laugh of his. He was like, you got ancestors that settled in Louisiana, man. He said all the ones that were going to get killed by weird poisonous animals and fevers, they died already. You know, it's like you're the select group that did not get killed by that shit. So, yeah, kill the fucking spiders. What's next? Uriah Heep, man. Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. Sunrise is the one I'm listening to. Oh yeah. Sunrise. Yeah, I'm totally down. But I'll tell you what, they've got some songs that are fucking unbelievable. And then there are a bunch of other ones that are kind of like, but the good ones are the best. The best. Oh shit. Where am I now? Okay, generator. Vampire song. That vampire song to work out on is amazing. There are some anime songs I will listen to when I do reps. Don't judge. Sorry, I will judge. Gross. Ew. What the fuck is an anime song anyway? This This evening was going so well. Everything was fucking perfect. I'm past 2 hours. Holy shit. All right. I'm going to have my last cigarette. I've already passed the 2-hour mark, so it's too late now. So I'm going to have one last cigarette. And then I'm going to go, ladies and gentlemen, because then I'm going to have myself another drink. And it's going to be good. Ooh, but you know what I kind of want? I kind of need a little bit of this water right here. Good and good for you. All right. What's next? I'll sing Hungarian folk songs if you sing sea shanties, says Nullus Abnormocracy. That sounds fine. Yeah. I have to pull out all those old Musicas songs. That one from fucking English Patient, the old lullaby. Yeah, Marta Sebastian. Philosoph Cat, man. 50 is the new 30, I've heard. Judging by your antics, this may be true. But fuck you, man. But you probably will start to get tired soon. Kiss my, you see this muscle? You see that? You see that forearm? You see that? Does that look tired? Motherfucker. And this muscle right here. You see that one right there? You see that? I can, there ain't nothing tired about this. I'm good. I mean, if what you're trying to say is that I'm obviously risibly immature, yes, I am. But the important thing is to stay focused on what matters. I'm out of the damn city. I'm in the country. I can enjoy my cigarettes. I got to find some proper rednecks to drink with out here. I need to start dipping. I totally want to start dipping. That's going to be the best. Yeah. Carry a little cup around. I'm totally going to do it. All right. What is next? Yeah, insects are a sign that nature is healthy around me. Yes, says John Swanson. Yes, nature is very fucking healthy around me. Scorpions everywhere. I mean, the dish towel, scorpion falling out of the dish towel was annoying. Scorpion falling out of the pile of books that I was picking up after I had unboxed them and was stacking them and sorting them. Ugh. We'll see. I didn't have any kind of anaphylactic reaction with the damn Black Widow, which I guess probably you commonly don't get. I've been absolutely eaten alive by gnats and mosquitoes all at once. Made some mistake of trying to crawl into this property through a bunch of underbrush, low, thick, dense underbrush like deers will get up in, and it would just swarm with deer ticks and gnats and everything else. And I came out of that, every fucking lymph gland on my body was swollen up because I was reacting to having been bitten up and down my entire body and didn't drop dead and didn't contract Lyme's disease. Or if I did, I didn't notice it. So I'm fine there. Every wasp and bee sting I've gotten, I've been good. But I haven't had a scorpion sting yet. So yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, where did I leave off? Lance Corporal Veteran keeps reposting. It's 1857. The epidemic is subsiding. The Crimean War is nearing its end. The economic panic is reaching the U.S. due to a reduced international agricultural market, and an election is upcoming. Okay. All right. I read it now. Don't know the context for it, but that's all right. I'm all about it. El Vaquero 555 says, Semigog, I actually have a Hawaiian shirt that is pretty good camo in those lava flows. Hawaiian shirt, and totally you got to have a pair of those fucking short ass Tom Selleck Magnum PI shorts, and then I will believe it is actually happening. You have to shoot a full 1980s pictures of yourself and like set it all up properly, that is where you need to be. Just trust me. You start sending out memes with that, and you're going to find you've got like crowds of admirers. The kids love it. The kids love it these days. Mr. Ixme says, Semigog, you got to see Oregon beaches. The closest I got to that, a movie I worked on with a friend of mine got picked up by the Seattle International Film Festival. And I remember I went to Seattle, and it was crazy, but not as crazy as now. And I was still sort of, blue pilled in somnambulance. And so I didn't really notice how that was. It didn't bother me that much. It was a little weird. And I got out, I think on a ferry or some kind of boat. It was a boat. Yeah, not a ferry. For one of the parties associated with the film festival. And I got to see the sound, but I didn't see any beaches. I mean, are there really sand beaches? And plus the Pacific's cold as a because we lived in the same city for a while. I'd get up to like Stinson or Mirror Beach, and I got out in the water, and I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker. This is fucking cold. Like, even when it's sunny out, you get in the water and you're like, this shit is fucking cold. Fuck that shit. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, but it's fucking cold. I mean, I loved it when I was in Side on the Mediterranean coast in southern parts of Anatolia, because you get in the water there during the daytime and it's fucking warm, blue sky, best sunsets in the world in Side. And yeah, that is great. But yeah, Oregon, you've heard me say it. I think from everything I've seen of it, Oregon is one of the most beautiful places in the world. The only problem is it's now full of Californians, but I ain't got to tell you that. And the Californians are probably the least of the fucking problems up there now these days. I hope it gets straightened out, man, because that's your place, your peeps, and it's fucking beautiful. So I'll take your word for it. I'll check out the beaches. I'm gonna get myself a fifth wheel and travel the country. Fuck you, man. You look young for a person in their 100s. Those are jack off muscles. This is not a jack off muscle. This is a fucking get him. Or I can do the crane. I'll strike you in your fucking clavicle. If man, you start fighting with me, the fucking right in the clavicle. I fucking break your clavicle with the crane. You don't know. Don't fuck with me. Okay. Oh. Did somebody? Where'd it go? Did somebody say what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of the women's. Those are fucking jack off muscles. What an asshole. Discounts on retirement. Fuck all you children. What life advice do I have for youngsters under the age of 50, says Philosophicat. You should be so lucky as to be in the shape I am and the fucking prime life like I am at 50. Seriously, I'm in good fucking shape for 50. Motherfucking children. Here's my advice for you. Don't waste time on anyone's bullshit. Anything that you think you have to do because you have to do it, no, get away from it. The only thing that is yours is the coin of your life, and only you can spend it. And on your deathbed, you're going to hate to say, I made sure to do what I was like. Fucking discover what matters to you, and it's fine if that's other people. And fucking commit to what you're going to commit to. And when you have something worth living for, then you have something, when you have something worth dying for, you have something worth living for. It's basic shit. Like, don't suffer fools. So, I'm not getting into it. A friend of mine, his dad lived into his 90s, and that dude had the best fucking lines ever. Many of them were as good as Tim's. He had one, what's a naked woman do for an encore? He was just badass, big old fucking tall dude, fucking ice blue eyes, white hair. My buddy's old dad, he was in World War II. My friend, my age, his dad was in World War II. His dad had him late, so he was like connected to an older generation further back. I'll tell you what, man, hanging out with people older than you, wise thing. I did it quite a bit when I was younger. And as a result, I was, oh, El Vaquero says, my father has been bitten by black widows 3 times. He said the third one was no worse than a bee sting. Well, hell yeah. So that means maybe I'll develop some kind of antibodies. Maybe I will. That'll work. But still, to be honest with you, I don't want more of it. Hey, Waterpenny's in the house too. Hello, Waterpenny. The kids love it. Never mind. I ain't reading your tweets. Y'all fucking with me? Call this a jackal. I'll fucking right in the clavicle. What if a long-legged creature like Shelob, says Julius Flavius, walked out of your room as you were heading towards it? Would you have Samwise Gamgee's bravery? No. I would have I would immediately apply triple op book is what I would do. I fucking, fucking click rack. Yeah, I'd empty Shelob. Don't be saying that shit. I got to cross the darkness of the yard here and it's quiet out here. Ain't no people around me out here. All right, shit. Where am I now? Colonel Crayon says, I thought you were in your 30s, late 30s when I first saw you. Yeah, that's because I have this beautiful light. Let's make it. Let's put my old light on. Can I make it all old? Here's my old light. You see my old light? This how fucked up I actually am. The old light. This is where I talk to you from darkness about the horror. So you see, I ain't all young. I'm all fucked up and old. What's okay? Yeah. Where long-legged creature? I'm lost. Yeah, late 30s. I wish, dude. Colonel Crayon says, when did you start going gray? 22, and I can see a couple coming through. I found my first gray hairs at the front of my head. I was shaving my head at that time, so it had only grown out whatever. Either my whole life, basically, with a few exceptions, which I regret. I either let my hair grow so I don't have to do anything to it and pay somebody to touch my fucking hair, which is fuck off, or I just shave it. The problem is it started being a mix of white and black, and as a consequence, when I shave it, it looks like I'm a mangy Dalmatian because the color difference. So I'm waiting. When it all goes white again, I'm just going to shave it. I can't be bothered with this bullshit. Anyway, I had a shaved head. I was about 20, and I found like a whole slew of gray hairs up in the front. So yeah, I was 20 years old, and a bunch came in. So you're probably going to go pretty seriously gray early if you got them coming in now. Pole is in the house. Jonathan Pole. Again, I recommend his book. Yeah, he has 0 gray hair at 51, but Pole is some kind of weird German. What kind of German are you anyway, Pole? Are you a Schwabian or what? Where are you from? Where are your people from? Where in Germany? Mine are from up near Bremen, the Timkins. And then I think there's some called the Krubies who come from the area of Alsace-Lorraine. But I wonder what kind of German are you? Yeah. Wait, was that a PCAT one? Is right that is Semigog is right that it is wise to hang out with older people, which is why we're all here. No, there's some. Thank you. Yes, that's good, but there are a bunch of younger people here too. Yeah, I do have absolutely Morbic. Fantastic genetics. A little bit weedy, a little bit scrawny. I don't eat the full chickens, but I'm working on it. I just can't put the weight on. I'm working on my back now, though. Must be back. Legs are back. They have returned now. Legs are good. They're coming next. The legs are good. So now I'm loading in the back because I never did the work to connect the bottom half to the top half properly, so I can apply all that force with full movements. And then, and I'm working on my back and a little bit on my chest. I've never been concerned about chest. Need good shoulders. Can't let your arms get so big that they get in the way of moving. When I was working in bars as a young kid, I would work at the door. I was young. I was just bar backing and cleaning up trash and shit. And on really busy nights, the doormen could not get away ever. And so occasionally they'd just be like, look, just come watch the door for a minute so I could take a piss, right? So I'm having to work the door when I'm literally 17. And this is back in the days when everybody was wearing Z Cavarici and shit with little bolo ties around their neck and all this bullshit in the late 80s, very beginning of the 90s. And I remember watching these guys get in a big fight in the parking lot when I was at the door that night while the proper doorman was away. And I remember like they do this big thing where they dance around and they'd rip their shirts off or pull them off because they didn't want their shirts to be hurt, but they also wanted to show their chest. This is big fucking bow up bullshit. And I remember watching some of them, their muscles are literally in the way of their movements. It's like if you tell one of these muscle bound guys to scratch his opposite shoulder, he'd be like, and it just seemed ridiculous to me. When you look at the old strongman from like photos of the 19th century, they're solid. You can tell it, but they don't get this weird ice cream scoop bloated look to their bodies, and they can still move. You still have to keep the freedom of your range of movements, and you can't allow being muscle bound to get in the way of your ability to dart quick and to, distract over here while you hit here, whatever. You've got to be able to fucking, anyway, that's my type. I'm not a cubic mass dude. I had a friend who was Swedish descent, and as Tim put it one time, I was like, damn, that dude's just fucking, Daniel is big. And Tim was like, yeah, he's built to hunt grizzly bear with the switch, And I was like, yeah, he fucking is, man. I'm not built that way. So I have to roll with the physical type that I am. And I'm going to always, I remember I once said to Tim, I said, what's more important, strength or speed? And he looked at me and accuracy. Fucking Tim always had the best answers. And so, yeah, I'm never going to be one of those people who's like fucking trying to drag folks across the floor. I do not want to have to grapple. So yeah, I avoid that. Why am I all off here? No, I don't shave with the damn straight razor or safety razor El Vaquero. I shave with clippers because I don't want it to go that close. I like to keep my skin soft. All right, I'm gonna have to wrap up here in just a minute. Let me see here. Asleep and Avalon says, Semiagog, you remind me of Elric of Melniboné. Ever read those books? Yeah, I've read all the Michael Moorcock. I started with Robert E. Howard when was I first reading Savage Sword of Conan comics of my older brothers? I first started reading Savage Sword when I was in second or third grade. And definitely by fourth grade, I was just sitting in class reading the Ace fantasy or whatever, like Conan the Usurper and that kind of shit, Conan the Freebooter. So I was reading the Conan books when I was in fourth grade. By the time I was in late fifth grade, early sixth grade, I remember I first found out about Moorcock from Deities and Demigods playing D&D, and then I bought Elric of Melniboné. It was either Walden Books or B. Dalton Books, these bookstores that long ago ceased to exist, these mall bookstores. And I immediately went down the Michael Moorcock rabbit hole. I still have a huge collection, tons of Michael Moorcock. Michael Moorcock was my favorite author after Conan and before Zelazny. I really liked Roger Zelazny. Jack of Shadows, Mad Wand, the Amber books, The Doors of His Face, The Lamps of His Mouth, lots of great books. Yeah, so I read tons of Michael Moorcock. In retrospect, he was definitely a fucking subversive leftist, but I still love those books. The Quorum books, Hawkmoon, I read probably 10 times. I never really got into the Jerry Cornelius and the End of Time stuff. I read a little bit of it. Mr. Ixme says, pet chameleon to deal with the insect problem. No, I think I'm going to deal with some chickens. I'm going to get me some chickens. So not only will they get rid of my problem bugs, but they'll convert them to meat I can eat. Waterpenny says, I missed him. Yes, I do too. Chris Card says, enjoy being stronger and larger. It feels better, simple as I don't care what people think. Yes, you should embrace your body type. I just got a different type. I can move very fast on the line forward. I can move very fast at angles to create angles and shit like that. Surprising. I mean, I'm not as fast as I used to be, but I had considerable attack coming off the line. And I could also retreat and dodge and move very quickly. But your physical type, you got a whole other set of advantages. I have to do what I have to do. You have to do what you have to do because you built that way. But I tell you what, there's a reason that God made 45 ACP to deal with y'all big motherfuckers. Not, of course, that I endorse violence of any sort. Okay, what else do I have here? I'm coming up on it. I'm going to cut this at 2:30, which is 6 minutes. So I'll make it even. What do we have for final? Whoa, shit. It just updated on me. God damn it. Ooh, Solomon Kane. Guy from V mentioned Solomon Kane and King Cull. By this axe I rule. Elvicaro 555 says, Semigog, why is violence so often contradictory? Often the best way to win a gunfight or duel is to hurry up and take your time. Well, that's kind of the thing. I mean, I'm not trying to drag it down to the level of movies, but that was very nicely laid out in Unforgiven at the end, where he's taking his time to shoot. And I have seen, I don't know, I don't have a huge background in fights. I've probably been in half a dozen childhood fights and then working as a bouncer. I don't know, I scuffle, sure, but only like probably another half a dozen fights. So I haven't been in that many. But yeah, presence of mind has served me. The only thing I think that could, and it depends on the societal constraints of the world you live and operate in, depending on whether or not it's going to be more trouble than it's worth. The only thing that I think that comes in a second behind presence of mind. Well, I mean, there's the old thing about the Irish boxer who used to pickle his hands in fucking salt water and shit and toe the line in turn of the century around 1900. And some guy asked him, he said, what's the most important advice you could give to young men regarding violence? And he was like, keep a civil tongue in your head, but other than presence of mind, the only thing that I think that is a major feature that's useful is just to not hesitate and attack. But the thing is, I've seen people who do that and they're so not hesitating and attacking to just do it. Like, you don't care. It's not going to be a Yankee cuss fight. The second you see the pre-seed, you just break whatever it is there in front of you. The thing is that it's only if you do that without fear. I've done it as a young man out of fear, where you're just like, oh shit, I'm afraid that I'm going to be afraid. So here it comes. I'm just jumping straight in. I'm not thinking, I'm just doing it. Right. And that can actually fuck with your presence of mind. But if you have presence of mind and you add in the thing of strike first without any hesitation, but it has to be cold. It has to be sang-froid. It has to be fucking straight. Right. If you're all bound up in it and worked up in it, it'll get in your, what am I doing talking about fucking giving advice about violence? I ain't no badass. What's the next question? Leonard the Jaeger says, Jaeger or something like that, says hunter. Jaeger is hunter, isn't it? Leonard the hunter. Semiagog going to do a new house stream. Those were great. No, I watched one of those again, and actually I dig it. The house streams held up well, but I covered most of what I wanted to in those two. There are a couple other angles that I could have talked about, but I'd have to go back to them. I got a few other things that are going to happen first. So maybe in future, there's going to be another one. Got 2 minutes left. John Swanson says, Semiagog, when I was in the army, my friend who is 6'4", he said, you people scare me because you fight hard, like to the death. I definitely had to deal with smaller guys who had Napoleon complexes, but I never had to deal with the real problem, small guys. Because Tim, when he was young, was wide and stout, but he was not particularly tall. And that dude was a fucking killer. And he taught me to be very, very careful about small guys. But most of the ones that I dealt with were the ones with big chips on their shoulders, not the ones who, like, you know, they're people who recruit short men and teach them to be the good humor man, teach them to be the thing that you never want to see show up on your doorstep because they're small and nobody will notice them. But the thing is, and it's like Tim told me years ago, and it's absolutely true, the people who are aware of real violence, if they come after you, what are you going to do about it? I mean, even if you think you're a badass in one area or another, they can just fucking, you know, pick you off. If their job is to make you go away, you're gone. But the good news is they don't do any of that shit unless they absolutely have to, because they don't want to have to clean up the mess afterwards or explain it or, you know, have it get in the way of their day. They don't have any fear about it. It's just another job. It's like cleaning up dog shit. Killing you is like cleaning up dog shit for those people. So normally you don't have to worry about them. What you have to worry about is the little guys who have a huge chip on their shoulder. And you can just as often find it with the damn big guys who have a chip on their shoulder. Yeah, but little guys can, yep. Anybody can fucking end you. I remember the story. This is what I'll close with. Fuck, I just passed 30 minutes. God damn it. I had this little friend down the way named Mark. His last name was Anthony, so his name was Mark Anthony. I was, fuck ever. It was right in the days when I had started playing D&D. I was in 4th grade. You know, my mother would be away, so I'd go spend the night at his house or whatever. And he had this crazy, scrawny, fucked up looking aunt. God, what was her name? I don't remember. I was a little kid in like 3rd or 4th grade, like I said. Sally, I want to say, something like that. She had weird nostrils. I remember hearing when I came back, I moved away, but then he still lived in the same apartment complex. And even though I moved away, he was my old friend. And, you know, my mom probably loved the idea of sending me away to go spend the night somewhere else so she could have a night on her own. And so I went back to the old apartments to stay with Mark, and I heard that Aunt Sally or whatever had died. And I was like, what the fuck? And he was like, yeah, she was walking in the living room and she slipped on the carpet and fell and hit her head on the edge of the big ass. This is back when you'd have a lot of people still have their hand-me-down TVs that were in the huge wooden cabinets. She just smacked her head straight on the cabinet and went into a coma and eventually died. And it's like the pebble of chance. I put that in a poem once. The pebble of chance can unhorse you entire. And yeah, so, I mean, it's not to say be fearful of fighting, because you got to face whatever it is you got to face and avoid it if you can. Cunning, presence of mind, metis, cunning intelligence, always dominate. Like Tim used to say, fucking old age and cunning will beat youth and bravado every time. But I still remember Aunt Sally, skinny lady, middle-aged lady, slipped on the carpet, hit her head on the edge of the TV and is dead. And, you know, you see a bunch of people that get into fights and they end up coming out of it. They don't know how lucky they are. It's surprisingly easy to end up accidentally dead. So yeah, I try to avoid it. I'm a relaxed man. I am a lover, not a fighter. And I endorse a path of understanding and tolerance. And I do mean that. I've never met a man I didn't like. I am a friend to every man. Between all men of goodwill, differences are small. So yeah, please dismiss anything I said that might seem to endorse in any sense actively getting involved in violence, unless you're absolutely in, you know, fear of immediate and severe injury or possibly death to yourself or someone in your presence. is only justifiable when it's warranted under the terms of the use of deadly force. So please don't misunderstand anything that I've said here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of my stream. I should have ended it at 2 hours and 33 minutes, but then I tend to run on at the mouth. I apologize for last week when I was, or excuse me, for last night. Last night when I was supposed to do a stream, and instead I destroyed my computer. So yeah, I appreciate y'all hanging with me and continuing to support the channel. I will be back soon. Wish me the best. Hopefully I can get my laptop working. Keep your eyes peeled for my appearance over on Dangerfield's channel. Eventually, hopefully I will appear over with Alex Kashuta, and I'm going to be doing something later in the month. I think it's the 17th, but don't quote me, with Apostolic Majesty. And I might even try to get on UO here sometime soon. So yeah, that does it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I thank each and every one of you, one and all. Thank you very much to Zed Dez and Mr. Ixme and any other moderators we might have had in the house. I will see all you guys next time. Thanks for being here. I am Semiagog, and I am out.